Hi, my name is Brigadier General Dwayne A. Gamble, United States Army, and it was my honor to be here today to represent the senior Army leadership to honor Sergeant Richard Essex, a warrior who died for our country in defense of our freedom. As many know, Richard died on 16 August during a combat operation against our adversaries, and it's our purpose here today to honor that, his sacrifice, honor the sacrifice of his family, and the sacrifice of this great community. I must tell you that this community, it's palatable, their support to this family and the support to our nation. And it really is a humble honor for me to be here today with your community, with the Essex family, and the people of this great town. Thank you.
Good morning, and on behalf of the Essex and Hopkins family, I would like to thank you all for coming out to honor Sergeant Richard Essex. Understandably, this has been a very hard time for Richard's family, and the genuine show of love and support from our community has helped them immensely. Before we begin, I have been asked by Richard's mother, Marion, to lay out a few ground rules, and that is, there are no rules. If you feel the need to get up and stretch your legs, please feel free. And more importantly, if you have children that are getting restless, please let them run around and do what kids do. Lord knows that Richard spent plenty of his time running around here and under the bleachers, and it only seems natural that your kids would too. In listening to the lineup of speakers that are here this morning, it is my hope that you go away with one understanding: what it is that makes an ordinary boy into an extraordinary man. In Richard's case, it was not one thing or one event. It was a combination of many influences throughout his life. And while his time as a soldier in the United States Army certainly had an obvious impact on who he was, there was much, much more to this young man that I would like to introduce you to.
Legs straight up. Lay down, kid. Hit! Breathe in. Hurry!
Richard was last in Kelseyville about 11 months ago. He had recently lost a friend and fellow soldier and had witnessed the difficulty that the soldier's family had in planning his funeral and dealing with arrangements. While Richard was home and before being deployed to Afghanistan, he was intent on making certain that he had made all of the arrangements in the event that he might not return home, so that his family would not have to go through the same struggle. What you are seeing today is what Richard had planned, including the procession on Tuesday, where he insisted that he be taken in front of Kelseyville High School. So, he made a list of friends that he wanted to speak, and even planned the meal that the family will be having later today. As many of you can see, there are balloons tied to the chairs. There will be Sharpie pens going around, and per his instructions, if you could write down a brief thought at a point later in the ceremony, there will be a balloon release. Because of his thoughtfulness, there was really very little for us to plan. I believe in my heart that if Richie had to do it all over again, he would still do it all over again. Most of you may not realize that Richard overcame several hardships as a child, one of which was a very limited ability to speak well into his early school years. But due to the commitment of family and teachers and a strong desire on Richard's part, he not only overcame that, but he was proud of the fact that he had a voice and he wasn't afraid to use it. If you spent any time with Richard and the discussion turned to politics or religion, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Richard proved to be very thoughtful and was constantly writing in journals and putting his thoughts on paper. However, one English teacher actually told him that English would never be his thing. I can only imagine her surprise when Richard became a published author with his book of poetry entitled Shade Tree Memories. $12 at Amazon.com, in stock and gift wrapping available. As one of Richard's coaches, I know that I speak for many folks in this community that either coached Richard or had the good fortune to be one of his teachers when I share my hope that we had but a small part in giving him a positive influence as he grew up in this little town that he loved. I also know, especially thanks to the many Facebook posts, that Richard and his friends had a relationship that most people aren't able to find even with a family. He cared for them, and they obviously had a deep love for him as well. Whether it be hanging out at home or out on the paintball battlefield, he loved the time spent with friends. As for his family, there was no doubt trials and tribulations that are with any boy of this age growing up. But as you can see by the number of family members that are seated here this morning, Richard was loved by a very large family. He loved his big brother Mike, who you will hear from in a few minutes, as well as his big sister Jennifer and his baby sister Stacy. His father Charles and the Essex family have most definitely been touched by this young man and his accomplishments. When Richard was 2, Brett Hopkins came into his life and became his stepfather, and all of us that know Brett will attest. Brett loved him and treated him as if he were his very own son. I asked earlier, what makes an ordinary boy an extraordinary man? In this case, it is without question an extraordinary mother. Marion, your commitment to all of your kids is widely known. Those of us that know you know how hard you've worked. And I don't remember ever not seeing you at a function your kids were involved with. Over the last couple weeks, you've been dealt a blow that no parent should ever have to go through. Yet you have remained strong, and while it has been our goal to show you support and comfort, it is you that have inspired us. Thank you for giving us this young man in our lives, and know that we are here for you, and we are all better for having had Richard Essex in our lives. Well, if there's no rules, I'm going to start with a little story, and it's not the story about Richard the hero. It's about Richard the juvenile delinquent. And I probably shouldn't tell this story in front of so many military brass and law enforcement, else they probably wouldn't have let him in, but I'm going to do it anyway. And for Richard's sake, I'm sure he would have thought it was very cool that a mayor was going to speak at his memorial, but if you told him it was me, he would have probably thought that sucked. Can you say that? Oh, no rules. Okay. Anyway, I was actually renting a room in the Riviera. It was about 8 years ago. Richard was probably 15, 16. And I just got off shift waiting tables one night. And the woman who owned the house had one of Richard's school friends as her son. Well, she took off for the weekend, and unbeknownst to me, the house was turned into Party Central. And I've been to a lot of parties in my life, and that was the biggest party I think I've ever seen in one house. So I quickly went back to my bedroom that was in the back of the house and kind of secluded, locked the door, and I called some friends who were of age to come keep me company and protect me. When my friend Mickey got there, she's here today, she said, Richard and, oh, Jennifer was there. And so I asked if she could find them and bring them back so I could say hi and yell at them for doing what they're doing, because I never did that when I was that age. So Richard and Jen came back, and then right about the time they got to the door, cops. So I hid them in my room, and we locked the door, and we called Marion to come and rescue them. And so then the only mission I got to be on with Richard was trying to get him out of the house without the police officer seeing him. So we snuck down this staircase that went into the garage and out a side door and up the driveway, and I wanted to say hi to Marion and yell at Richard again, I swear. And so mission complete, he got out. I turned around to go back down the driveway, and an LED flashlight was right in my face. Who are you? So over the next 20 minutes, I had to convince the officer that I just got off work, I only rent a room here, and they shouldn't take me to jail for all these minors drinking at the house I live in. So anyways, for many years, I thought Richard really owed me. Jen, you still owe me. But on August 16th, I received a text message that told me Richie's debt was paid, and every debt that he ever owned was. Now, as I stand here before you today, our community and our country owes the greatest debt to him, a debt that will never be paid back in full, a debt that some of us may not even believe we deserve, some of us never would have wanted in all eternity. My beloved friendship with the Essex and Hopkins go way back. A little over 2 decades ago, on the shores of Clear Lake in Soda Bay, my mom began a long relationship with a man who was friends with Marion's father and Richie's grandfather. We spent our weekends and most our summers there in Soda Bay. I have those early childhood memories of becoming friends and playing with Michael, Richie's older brother, as there were not too many kids around our age in that neighborhood. It was a carefree childhood. Richie was a toddler in those days. Those days, if you would have told me that annoying toddler who was trying to steal our Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joes, probably to slobber on them, If you would have told me that he would be one of the biggest heroes in my life, I wouldn't have believed you. But today he is. I cannot honor Richard without expressing gratitude to his family, Marion and Brent, Michael, Stacy, Jen, his wonderful grandmother Loretta, and his Aunt Mamie, one of my dearest friends in the world. Like my family, they are not of great material wealth, but they are rich in character. They are not spiritual folks, but they are folks of noble spirit. They are hardworking and they raise their children in a home of love, structure, compassion, and strength. It reminds me of a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Without that combination in love you all gave Richie, we would not be here to honor him today. For his path may have been lesser and longer, but his life much more meaningful. Before we can thank your son, grandson, brother, nephew, and our dear friend, we must thank and honor all of you for sharing him with us. May our gratefulness offer you some comfort in your grief. It is not easy today. It is not easy to give Richie the true grateful tribute to his sacrifice without the pain of knowing that someone so wonderful was lost so young. It is not easy because, as so many here can attest, Richie was a kind person, a gentle being who had few negative words for anyone and anything, a sense of humor, a wit, a charm. Richie was not 1 in a million. Richie was 1 in 7 billion. He was a unique human being, and all that came into contact with him were privileged and more complete for doing so. So in comfort for our falling, in healing for our community, and in gratefulness for our country, we must take all the good things about Richard Essex as he leaves us. We must honor Richie by going forward with greater passion and bigger vision in our lives. Where Richie's service ended, our service must begin. We must do this by better serving our friends, our families, better serving our neighbors, and even better serving ourselves. The things we take for granted, we must appreciate to the fullest. The milestones in our life we move forward, we must appreciate even more, knowing that our fallen friend will not be reaching the same point, for he has lost his life. The true tribute to Richard's life leaves this place today. It goes home with all of us. He is a hero, a serviceman. He made the ultimate sacrifice to give us what we have. Richard goes on. He goes on because it is now our time to serve his memory. As our hearts heal, we must remember and go on being better people for the one who gave it all. He will not be along for the journey by our side, but he will forever be in our hearts. I just want to thank you, my friend, for your sacrifice. This has been one of the greatest honors of my life, speaking here today, and one of the saddest moments. But please go today honor Richie. Thank you all. Bless you all.
On behalf of the governor, the people of California, and all California law enforcement, I would like to present the family with a flag that has been flown over the state capitol for Sergeant Essex' commitment and dedication to our country.
Thank everyone for coming out. As you know, my brother was a wonderful guy. Very funny. If you've had the privilege of reading his poems, you know he's a very deep person. All his friends, thank you. You've been a great support. Sergeant K, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The family appreciates it. All of the men and women of law enforcement, fire department, thank you for your support. Jeannie from Tango Mike, thank you for all your help. We love you. To all the men and women of the armed services, thank you for your service, and we hope you all stay safe. At this time, I'd like to read a poem for my brother. A lot older than all you guys here. It was written in 1919. Oh, here we go. It's called Boyless Days. You hear people talk of the wheatless days and the meatless days that come. But do they ever think of the boyless days we have in so many homes? Thousands of homes in this land of ours have sons who have answered the call. Many of them will go over the top, and many no doubt will fall. Many of the boys are so young to go. Sorry. Their lives have been free from care, and the motherless days will be as long for them. As the boyless days are here, the wheatless day is just for one day, and you know it will soon be gone. But the boyless days are endless days. They go on and on. The meatless days are nothing at all. There's always something to take their place. But in the boyless homes, there is not a thing that will fill the place of a boyish face. Then forget your troubles of the wheatless days and the meatless days that come, and try to make it a brighter day. For the boys away from home, and send up a prayer for the boyless homes, whose sons have gone over the sea to fight for the honor of the stars and stripes that shelter you and me. Thank you.
Richard was my best friend. I can honestly say that I have no other friend that I am more proud of than Richard. It actually makes it really hard to grieve during this process because of that. It's hard to be sad when you're so happy for him. But he was the friend that inspired most of us to better ourselves and to try to help each other out more. Whenever Richard came to town, the family got put back together. He was definitely our big brother. When he would come back through town, it would basically take a surgeon to get me off of his side. I wanted to be around him all the time. It's just no matter what we were doing, I just felt we'd be fine because he was there. He was the one that taught me that I shouldn't be so critical on myself and start sharing my music with others. In fact, if it wasn't for him, I'd probably still be in my room playing guitar all by my lonesome, rather than being the only 20-year-old that gets to close the bars down. Richard was always cool, calm, and collected, unless we were getting in trouble or if there were girls around. It would break his neck as we drove by just to look at a girl. And every time he passed, he'd, ow, ow, ow! Or he'd do a Jay and Silent Bob quote, one about a fat man in an overcoat. I remember when he was here last, and we found these mortars. Well, as the night progressed, we found it more and more hard to just look at them. So we decided to go out, and we waited for like 15, 20 minutes for all the cars to continue passing. And then finally we're like, okay, let's just do it, because there was no cars. And when we set the mortar down, we lit it, and as we do, a truck pulls up. And the truck goes, he had obviously just realized that we were lighting up a mortar. But he goes, hey, lighting fireworks is cool, but don't steal that guy's weed. And right about then we went, are you serious? Richard looks at me, he grabs the can and goes, run! I don't think there was a single person who was so outgoing and spontaneous, but still could be so deep at the same time. Which is why I don't want to do a moment of silence for him. I would like everybody to yell Blasco with me if they would, on 3. So let's go ahead and try it. 1, 2, 3. Blasco! I love you, big brother. And for those who remember, Poncho Kitty.
Richard is a son, a friend, a brother, and a battle buddy. To so many, he will be missed dearly. We come together today not to mourn a hero, but to remember a hero. Richard died doing what he loved for his country and to keep us safe. Michael, Richard, Stacy, and I have been through so much. From the fish hook in the eye, from getting his head stuck in a bus door, right up at the high school too, and going toe-to-toe, full-blown fist fights, and pretty much just scaring our parents half to death. We rocked our childhood to the fullest. We wouldn't change it for the world. Richard died doing what he loved as an adrenaline junkie. I want to say thank you for everyone. For all the officers, firefighters, and to all the troops who are still fighting overseas and are home safe right now. I thank you so much for keeping our world a better place. I hope you know from the bottom of my heart that I love every single one of you and everybody who came out today. Thank you so much. Richard, I hope you can hear me because I love you so much. I really do, and I can't believe you're gone. I'm never going to say goodbye. Never. But I always will. Say till next time. Thank you so much, everybody.
Sorry if my language offends you. It just kind of flows. Well, Richard was my brother. His family took me in when I had nowhere to go. But he wasn't just a brother. He was one of my closest friends. Hell, I was such a pot-smoking hippie that I wanted to be a florist instead of anything. I was so anti-military. And Richard just, we talked about it and talked about it. He's one of the reasons why I joined. And 5 years, amazing. I love that I can call him my brother. Saw him downrange. It was only for like a couple seconds. That honestly, like, just made the whole day better, completely. Maybe even a month. Who knows? But yeah, it's really hard looking at that casket. Yeah, I know. He's like, hey, speed it up, speed it up. But Richard. Love you, man. Be drinking a Blue Moon with you one of these days. See you again, brother.
Richard was one of the most amazing person I could have had in my life. He wasn't just an uncle and a son and a nephew, but just a friend and also a brother to most of us. It will always be Jennifer, Michael, Richard, and me causing havoc just for a laugh. We had times like the shaving cream fight, or when we had to possess talking Elmo doll and we destroyed it. Or when Mom said go outside and play and we blew up our toys because we were bored. In every story we can think of Richard, it has involved beer, smoking, and some other activities that really shouldn't be spoken of. But Richard made the best of everything and always made everyone smile. When he came back, he always had a good time with everyone. And he always had the best stories to tell, even if they were inappropriate. I would like to thank everyone from his friends that stayed with us this whole week, and family who has been with us, and everyone else who has showed up today. I thank you all so much. I miss you, Richard.
Can't honestly say how honored I am to be standing here right now in front of everybody. Richard was a great person. He was a good friend to a lot of people. He had a great family. Mary and Brett, I thank you guys for everything over the years. You guys helped me out a lot in some tight situations. You know, and just Richard, he wouldn't want everybody to just be happy. Remember him in a good way. Just live your life to honor him the best that you can. Because Richard will always be out there watching over us, and he'll make sure that no matter what happens, we'll be safe. I love you, Richard.
It's really hard for me to come up here and put into words my feelings for Richard. I only knew him for a short amount of time, let alone all these people who grew up with him, because I transferred to Kelseyville about through my junior year. And I was introduced to Richard by my uncle, Mr. Shelley. And the moment I met Richard, we were inseparable. I remember the first time I went over to their house, and Brett yelled at me, wearing my hat, and he told me to do push-ups. And I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him at all. And then I look over, and Richard's already doing them. Telling me to get going. So, I just had to do it. It was terrible. And then it took me the longest time to remember to take my hat off before I entered that home. And now it's just a habit. Every time I go in there, I'm not even wearing a hat anymore. So, it works out. It's just, I'm going to remember Richard always pushing me to do the things that I wanted to do. And the struggle that he went through to get to where he was today. I just really can't talk that much more because it's going to keep me going. I love Richard so much. He was like my brother. And it just hurts me and kills me the most, and I really did get the chance to say goodbye to him and tell him right now. So goodbye, Richard. I love you, man.
Good friend of ours who wasn't able to make it here today is currently stationed over in New York, Ryan Taylor. He told me something started to make a lot more sense now. He sat down and tried to write what he wanted to say today, if he was able to make it, and he said all he could manage to write was what he wished he could say to Richard. This is kind of how I'm feeling right now. Richard was a really good friend to all of us. It can't even be put into words just how amazing that guy was.
It's hard to stay strong when the person that you're usually strong with is not there anymore. And we went through a lot of stuff, and when I was pretty much at my darkest moment, he was fixing my friendships. And those of you who know me know that I say it's all family, no friends, because that's all I surround myself by is family. And when Richard visited me, when I pretty much needed it the most, that's the basic reason why I got it tattooed on my body. I've known him since I was a hippie with long hair, skinny jean wearing, juvenile who just liked to hang out with the older kids and do the stuff they did. Looking at him now, he helped me a lot. He helped me to realize that I should start putting my poems out there, putting my music out there. We used to stay up all night and swap poems back and forth. And one of the last ones I read from his was the one that's on the back of the Shade Tree Memories. Since I'm not really good at this whole speaking publicly thing, I wrote a song for him, and it's going to be played around this time right now. So just listen to the lyrics. If the genre is not your type, just listen to the lyrics as anything. This one goes out to the Essex family. You always stay in my prayers. You know I got you. Just ask me anytime. Yeah, I love you, Richard. I'll be watching over you. As I lay me down to go to sleep, I pray to the Lord, my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray to the Lord, my soul to take. Lay me down to go to sleep, I pray to the Lord, my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray to the Lord, my soul to take. Well, my brother told me life felt overrated. Cried tears when I heard that you didn't even make it. But you did it doing what you always wanted to. So now I pray you watch over me in the crew. Cause now I feel like I'm stuck in a vacuum. And you ain't just another tattoo. You what that dude sat and listen to my problems. And nobody else would even step up. Solve them, could make it quiet like a hard lump. But I do this time, cause last time you had me. And it feels like I lost my whole family. I asked God if you would understand me. When I sit back and laugh, why life so demanding. As I lay me down to go to sleep, I pray to the Lord, my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray to the Lord, my soul to take. Lay me down to go to sleep, I pray to the Lord, my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray to the Lord, my soul to take. Man, I couldn't even believe the news when I heard it. I mean, I didn't even know what to do. I lost homeboys before, but it was different. It wasn't some thug in the streets. It was a real man dying for his country, you feel me? So now I sit here looking back on broken memories when I first came back and you bought me Hennessy. Cause we always had the recipe to have a good time, always reppin' SSDD. Now I'm up in the booth with the 6 and the 2. And sometimes I wonder if it's really the truth. How can they take a homie like you? But I gotta accept it. Remember, go back and forth like text messages. As I lay me down to go to sleep, I pray to the Lord, my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray to the Lord, my soul to take. Lay me down to go to sleep, I pray to the Lord, my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray to the Lord, my soul to take.
At the end of 8th grade, and despite being 3,000 miles away, Richard would always try to make some effort to at least keep in contact with me and let me know all the stupid crap that he was doing on a daily basis. And every time we talked, he always had some words of inspiration. He did that with everybody. He made you push yourself and do the things that you love to do. And he is one of the few people that I've encountered in my life that every single memory has been good. Extremely inappropriate, but good. I got this news the other week from Justin. I couldn't believe it. The last time I saw him was 2005, coming into the summer into sophomore year. I came and visited and stayed with Justin. And once again, every single memory of him, totally inappropriate. But he will never be forgotten. He was an amazing friend, an amazing person, a damn good soldier, and he will always be remembered.
He was a friend, close friend, brother, a son, a soldier, and a nephew. In my opinion, he was one of the best to be in all these roles. A man who answered to the call of duty without doubt or complaint. A man who almost every day made his parents feel how proud to be those watching over him. A man who took the blow of practical jokes from his siblings, while in turn playing them back right at them. A man who could keep his close friends laughing for as long as he can, and even in the times of grief, he could leave a smile on their face. Richard, during our last conversations on Facebook, he asked me what my address was. And I was all, why, you trying to see me in the shower? And he said, no, I want to know your address so I can send you a birthday present. And I was, of course, refusing, saying, no, thank you. And you don't need to do that. He's all, no, I insist. You're going to love it when it comes. I still don't know what it is to this day. But even if it was the world itself, I would refuse just to have him by my side with all of us for at least one more day. Today, I've witnessed truly how influential Richard has been, even throughout our talks heart to heart when we were sober and not so sober. In this world, it pains me to know the fact that this man, with all his radiating greatness, can no longer be with us on this earth. He always asked about his poems. He always came to me when he thought how good they were. And they were always magnificent. They were always detailed. They were always very passionate. And he himself, being his worst critic, never agreed, but he would take my word. And this would go back and forth between us. But today, he left me with a self-realization that even when you are alone in your darkest of days, hating this world, always keep in the back of your mind and tell yourself, people do care about you. They do love you, and they can't wait to see you again, even when you have just left a few seconds ago. I ask Richard now, as he was above us in the skies, observing us, protecting us from across almost another world in this life, that he may continue doing so in the next. Everyone here, we all miss you. We all love you so much, Blasco. You weren't like a boss. You were the boss.
Before I make the next introduction, I would once again like to thank everyone for coming out. And although I know many of you out there probably never met Richard, may have never even heard of Richard prior to this happening, I would like to point out that this is his final gift to all of us as a community. While we all have differences, whether they be political, religious, personal, or even family, we're all able to come together, set those differences aside for this one fleeting moment in our lives in order to pay a tribute to this good man and honor and support his family. So thank you all for that. At this time, I would like to introduce Brigadier General Dwayne A. Gamble.
Good morning. This is a tough day for this community. This is a tough day for the family, and it's a tough day for the United States Army. And that's my message to you here today. And I have some prepared notes, and you'll have common themes. You'll hear common themes in my notes. So I hope you'll bear with me as I rehash some of the some that's already been mentioned. Quite look at it as the common way that Richard touched the community, the family, and the Army in which he served our country. So to the family and friends of Richard Essex, to his brothers and sisters in arms who served alongside him, to this warm and wonderful community that has shown so much outstanding support to the Essex family at this very trying time, I offer you deep and sincere sympathy on behalf of the entire United States Army and on behalf of a grateful nation. I'm honored today to represent our Army's leadership and our soldiers in honor of Sergeant Richard Ellis, and to fulfill a solemn duty and a sacred obligation. I'm here with the honors detail and a member of his own unit to follow through on a promise made by soldiers to soldiers. We will never leave a fallen comrade behind. We are here with you and the community to assure this fallen hero receives the full measure of honor he has earned and so richly deserves. We are also here to comfort and console his family and assure them that their warrior who died in battle will be honored and will never be forgotten. Sergeant Essex is our brother in arms. He, I, the soldiers here today, and the military veterans and his family and in this community are brothers in arms. We've shared the same hardships. We've walked the same ground. We've grieved together, and we've basked in the exhilaration that comes with battlefield victory. We live by a common set of values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. We recognize each other immediately as soldiers when we pass on the street. So while I did not know Sergeant Essex in life, I feel as if I've known him my entire career, especially now that I've overlaid the stories from his battle buddies in Afghanistan, the stories from his family, the tributes from his friends, the tributes from his unit, the tributes from his unit commanders, and the love and memory of his family in this community. Sergeant Richard Essex was a son, a grandson, a brother and a nephew, a proud member of a warm, close, and loving family. He was a neighbor, a schoolmate, a friend. Indeed, as we've heard today, the best friend you could ever have. He was a musician, a poet, an artist, a storyteller, and a warrior. He died a warrior in combat operations against our adversaries. I've looked at his record. I've spoken to the people who served alongside him, and Richard Essex was an absolutely outstanding soldier. He took pride in serving his nation and wearing this uniform. And when the time came to deploy forward to Iraq and Afghanistan, he went both times when duty called, without fear and without hesitation. He volunteered first as a soldier and then as a door gunner. He knew the risks he was taking and the sacrifices he would make, were high. He made the ultimate sacrifice. He gave his life on the battlefield, a sacrifice on behalf of his fellow warriors, his nation, and the cause of freedom. Losing Richard is a terrible loss for the United States Army. We've lost one of our best. We've lost so much, a man who gave so much and had so much more to give. The Army and the unit grieves with you and for you. Sergeant Essex's unit is still fighting today in Afghanistan, pressing forward with their mission while grieving over their loss and paying tribute to their fallen comrade as they complete the mission they began with Sergeant Essex by their side. For the family of Richard Essex and for the community, I know it will never be the same. The loss of this young man leaves you with a void that can never be filled. Like his unit, you too will carry on. You will find a way. You too will honor his memory in your own way. But you will do so knowing that Richard Essex can never be replaced. The sudden death of someone so young is something you simply don't overcome. You can never fully understand. And although we may never fully understand why Richard Essex was taken from us so soon, we can do what we came here to do today, to celebrate his life, to pay homage to this brave soldier who gave so much in his 23 short years. His courage, his devotion, and his honesty and his strength, the warm heart and creative mind are all worthy of celebration. He was inspiration to us all, soldiers and civilians alike, because Richard Essex was an example of what it means to be your very best and to do your very best. It is clear to me that this community has been inspired by Richard Essex, and you will remember him always. The large turnout here today, the procession held earlier this week when he returned to Kelseyville, show how much you care. And I can't thank you enough for that on behalf of the Army. It means a lot to our Army, and I know it means a lot to the family. Speaking as a soldier, and on behalf of everyone who wears the uniform of service, we are humbled by this community's support to Richard and his family. Let me close today by stating that we're here to assist you in any way we can, both today and in the future, and this is why we're here. It is our duty, a duty we are honored to perform, and one we carry out with great humility. Richard Essex is our fallen comrade, and we will never leave him behind. Nor will we leave behind his loved ones and all who mourn his passing. At this incredible time of sadness, I hope and pray that all who grieve for Richard Essex can find hope and consolation. May God bless and comfort you all, and may the sacrifice and heroism of Richard Essex never be forgotten. In describing what makes a country strong, another poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, wrote the following: "Not gold, but only men can make a people great and strong. Men who for truth and honor's sake stand fast and suffer long. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build a nation's pillar deep, and they lift them to the sky." This poem reminds me of your son, Richard Essex. Thank you again for being here today to pay tribute to Sergeant Essex, and for showing your love and support to the Essex family. May God bless Richard, his family, this great community, and our great nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you for being here to support the family of Richard Essex. At this time, Brigadier General Gamble will posthumously promote Specialist Richard A. Essex to the rank of sergeant and present Richard's family with the medals he earned in combat. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the promotion of Specialist Essex and remain standing for the presentation of the medals. Attention to orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Richard A. Essex, who died on the 16th of August 2012. Under the provisions of Public Law Number 680, passed by the 77th Congress and signed into law on the 28th of July 1942, I do hereby appoint him as Sergeant in the United States Army from the 16th day of August 2012. Signed, Adjutant General of the Army, by the authority of the Secretary of the Army. The Bronze Star Medal. Sergeant Richard A. Essex is awarded the Bronze Star Medal for meritorious service from 14 January 2012 to 16 August 2012 while in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Sergeant Essex's commitment contributed to our nation's continuing war on terrorism, and his actions represented dedication to the security of the United States of America. His sincere desire to bring peace and stability to a foreign nation is an example of what all American soldiers strive to achieve. No greater honor can be demonstrated by his ultimate sacrifice, and he will be forever remembered for his actions. Sergeant Essex's duty performance and selfless service are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Forces, Afghanistan, and the United States Army. Signed, John McHugh, Secretary of the Army. The Purple Heart. The President of the United States of America has awarded the Purple Heart to Sergeant Richard A. Essex, Company A, 2nd Battalion, 25th Aviation Regiment,
25th Combat Aviation Brigade, 25th Infantry Division Light, for wounds received in action on 16 August 2012 in Afghanistan. Signed, John McHugh, Secretary of the Army.
Military honors will consist of the firing of 3 volleys, the playing of taps, the folding and presentation of the flag. During the playing of taps, we ask all who are able to please stand. All current military and veterans may render the proper hand salute. At the conclusion of taps, please be seated for the folding and presentation of the flag. Thank you. Please stand.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Ready? Aim. Fire. Ready? Reset. Mark.
guys are ready to release the balloons? On three. 1, 2, 3.